Representative Smith, excuse me. I appreciate your clarification on the resolution versus law. My concern is that a resolution would further muddy the waters as opposed to clarifying them. Because I'm thinking about people of the state seeing the headlines, Arkansas lawmakers say, we are a permitless carry state, or however the headline would read. So my question for you is, resolutions matter. You wouldn't have brought it if you didn't agree with that. If we as a committee and if we as a body vote for this resolution, what exactly are we voting for? So I have in mind other existing laws, right, state laws that we have in the code about carrying, and I appreciated your words on concealed carry. I'm thinking specifically about 562. I know you're well familiar with it. You were a co-sponsor. That's the enhanced concealed carry permit. If we pass this through, how does this interact with existing state law about, say, enhanced concealed carry permits?
Thank you, Representative Smith has asked me to address this. This resolution would in no way affect 573-301 through 326. The act you reference is now law 573-322. The fact that Arkansas is a constitutional carry state with no permit required to carry openly or concealed has nothing to do with an enhanced permit or restricted places, which are found in 573-119, 573-122, 573-127, 573-306, and 573-322. And by the way, those are all prohibited places that we cannot carry a weapon unless we meet certain requirements. This no way affects that at all, and there's no confusion whatsoever for the citizens. When you go through this training, and the basic requirement, the basic purpose of the concealed handgun license at this point is for reciprocity for traveling outside of the state, for states that don't recognize constitutional carry of Arkansas, and it's also important for making FFL purchases. And oh, by the way, if you happen to have that enhanced carry, which is found in 573-322, that allows you access to potentially more places to carry, that's another reason for the CHCL. This resolution is not trying to affect, change, or anything a citizen's right to carry outside of prohibited places that already exist. And that is very clear to the citizens. And even when they take a concealed carry class, which I do not have a permit and I carry openly and concealed daily all over the state. When you take that class, they cover those places that are prohibited. And citizens also are aware of these places through the existing laws that already address it. What we're trying to do with this resolution is simply a clarification of what the law states now. We're not attempting to amend or change 301 through 326. We're not attempting to amend or change 322. We're not attempting to amend or change at this point 119, 122, or 127.
Follow. You're ready, Mr. Follow. Thank you. So the language of this resolution is very simple. The language says very simply, the Court of Appeals gave judicial clarity and affirmed that Arkansas is a constitutional carry state with no permit required to carry a handgun either unconcealed or concealed. I appreciate your elaboration. I don't think that what you just said is clear at all from the language of this resolution. What evidence do you have to make a claim like gun owners aren't confused by this?
I would suggest to the representative that right now the confusion is fairly high in this state. After 5 years of 573-120 being amended by Act 746, we still have people that don't understand that no permit is required. And again, I will stress this point. There is no place in law as it exists that says a permit is required to carry a handgun concealed or open. As a matter of fact, open carry is not in the law, period, anywhere. That's a term that's come about since Act 746. There is nowhere that says a permit is required, and citizens are still confused after 5 years and after 6 or 7 court cases that have been dismissed. I would point to a recent Forest City case where a gentleman by the name of Jonathan Chadwick was falsely arrested in Forest City for open carrying in a store. Eventually the case was thrown out because he didn't break a law. We had another case recently in Greenbrier where he was actually found not guilty. But that was a lower court decision that didn't affect case law, didn't set precedent. So we have law enforcement agencies, and now with this Taft decision, and I cannot stress enough that Taft was carrying concealed. Okay, he did not have a permit. He was doing other activities, but he was carrying concealed, and the store clerk called and said, hey, there's a guy with a concealed gun acting strange. And that's what the initial stop was based upon, the possession of that concealed weapon. He did not have a permit, and the Taft decision is very clear that that's not even a reason for the law enforcement to interact with the citizen. And oh, by the way, that's also addressed in Duffy v. Nebraska out of the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, that possession of a weapon is not reason for a law enforcement stop. So we have case law in the 8th Circuit, we now have case law in Arkansas, and again, we're not addressing 573-122, 573-119. 122 is restricted places, 119 is restricted places such as universities and schools and some other locations. We're not addressing those with this. We're not trying to attempt to change that law in any way. What we're trying to say is, hey guys, outside of existing law, you can carry a weapon concealed. You can carry it open, you can carry it in your car, you can carry how you see fit, because Arkansas' constitutional carry, that's what the law says. The law says you don't need a permit.
Well, and also we need to take into consideration the intent of the person carrying. If there's no intent, there's no breaking of the law. And that is one of those issues where perhaps we need some more clarity too, because we can't always look at a person and say their intent is to do harm. That's through observation, and someone simply walking down the sidewalk should not be taken into custody or questioned because there's no intent there, no discernible intent to do harm. So that's also important.
Thank you.
Representative Glover.
Yes,